Greetings, exiles. I'm Cod Raziel.
And I must protect this house! Keep the change, you filthy animal. Oh! Ah!
Today I'll be going over my Mind Over Matter Arc Trapper, which is using the Inquisitor Ascendancy. So it's just going to be a quick one. I'm not going to go over all the gear and links in detail. I'll just leave that stuff in the description. I just want to talk about how the build plays and also just the gear in general. So first off, this build, while not as powerful in preloading situations as most other builds, trap builds that is, it is quick and it can sustain combat quite a bit better than a lot of the builds I've seen. So with that said, let's have a look at what kind of gear we're using in this build. Okay, so this time we're not using 2 void batteries because we're also using an at-series foible, so there's no reason to get all them power charges on a non-crit build. For our weapon, we're just using a lightning damage attack and cast speed weapon since we are shield charging in this build. For the helm, life, mana, that's pretty much it. A couple of resists maybe. Amulet, as mentioned, at series foible. This gives us a gargantuan amount of mana as well as a gargantuan amount of mana regeneration. Boots, Omayokon. Now, since we're Mind Over Matter up to 50%, as you'll see, I've reserved half my mana, so I have 2,810 mana available and 5,000 plus maximum mana. The reason I did it this way was because I didn't have enough Mind Over Matter to take advantage of 5,000 mana, but I wanted to get all the dodge chance from that. The shield that we're using is an attack dodge shield. I would have preferred a spell dodge shield since with the Pantheon power that I'm using I can already cap my attack dodge chance, so spell dodge would be ideal here. Belt is just a life and resists and mana recovery rate belt. Gloves, we're using slavedriver's hands, and this is particularly because the Inquisitor gets a lot of cast speed from his ascendancy, so I wanted to take advantage of all that in terms of trap throwing speed. Body armor, Cloak of Defiance, gives us mana regeneration per second, extra Mind Over Matter, and the Mind Over Matter keystone along with a lot of extra mana. It's just a pretty solid choice. There are shaper chests that can beat this, but I haven't had any luck in rolling one of those just yet. Now, for the rings, I'm using a life mana ring, and that's just for some more life and mana. And in the other slot, we have Malachi's Artifice. And in there, we have our Flame Golem to create a red gem socketed, so it gives us 98% fire resistance. This was just so I'd have less resistances to worry about, and also putting our Flame Golem in here means that bosses and things of that nature would be elemental equilibriumed when the golem hits them, so it's not bad. Another alternative to this coral ring, if you can get your resists in order, is the Mark of the Shaper. Now, as you'll see, this is an Elder Malachi's Artifice. What people are doing is they're getting Elder unset rings and chancing them into essence worms. So what this leaves us with is a lot of really cheap Malachi's Artifice with Elder. And when used in conjunction with Mark of the Shaper, this gives us up to 80% increased spell damage. So this is a really nice damage ring, but your resists are going to suffer because we don't really have all that many places to get it. So that's something to keep in mind. That's definitely the end game option. Flasks, we use an Eternal Life Flask just because I like the sort of instant plus extra healing. We use a sulfur flask of warding. This will also remove our elemental ailments thanks to the Inquisitor tree. But this is just pretty much to create the consecrated ground, which gives us a lot of our mana regeneration. We then use a quartz flask of staunching. Bleeding is one of the few ailments we can still take while on consecrated ground, so this seemed like a natural choice. And the extra dodge chance is what caps us for attack dodge and gets us close to cap with spell dodge. We use a wise oak because penetration. And lastly, in this one I decided to use a stibnite flask to get that extra blind in there and make us avoid even more damage than we were before. Quick look over the passive tree, particularly the ascendancy. You'll see that the first thing I did was take Sanctify. This makes our consecrated ground give us damage, and it also creates consecrated ground when our traps hit a rare or unique enemy, or when we get hit. Unfortunately, the chance to create consecrated ground on kill does not work with traps, but you know, we have the flask for clearing, so it's not that big a deal. Next I picked up Pious Path. Now this, for Mind Over Matter, is pretty remarkable. First of all, we get 6% of mana and energy shield regenerated per second while on consecrated ground. It doesn't sound like that much, but it is increased by mana regeneration percent. So right now this is giving me about 18% mana regeneration per second. It's pretty amazing, and I don't know why more people don't go the consecrated ground route. It's not actually that hard to run. Since we're non-crit, the other things I picked up are Augury of Penitence. This gives us some extra elemental damage and makes us take less elemental damage from enemies. Instruments of Virtue gives us a large amount of attack speed, cast speed and spell damage as long as we're using our shield charge and Orb of Storms a lot. And the cast speed translates into trap throwing speed thanks to the slavedriver's hands. Not the slavedriver's hands, the architect's hands. Don't get the slavedriver's hands. The slavedriver's hands make traps use blood magic, and we regenerate our mana far faster than our life. For the full passive tree, check out the Path of Building in the description, and for the gem links, do the same. And that's pretty much it for this build. I was able to kill the Elder Guardians, the Shaper Guardians, the Elder and the Shaper. The Uber Elder, I ran into the same problem as I did when running my Hierophant without Indigon. I'm just not good enough at the fight yet to really get in there, although it looks like the damage would be more than sufficient to do Uber Elder, but since I haven't done it myself, I cannot guarantee that. So that is it for this build. It was a great lot of fun to play. I didn't expect to have this much fun with the Trapper, and it's also quite fast, which was surprising to me. So I do recommend you check it out, maybe even in the upcoming flashback event. So that is it from me. So I'd like to thank you for watching. Please do take a look at those like and subscribe buttons and maybe click on them. And good luck and stay juicy.